Hey guys, welcome back to Changing with the Tides. On today's video, I have on a very special guest. He's a very fascinating man, and we all know and love our deacons in our churches, our parishes. So I hope you love today's guest as much as I do, and I hope you enjoy the video.
It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day. It's my lucky day.
Okay, so in today's video, I have on a very special guest. Do you guys have in your parish, do you have that one deacon that makes a huge impact on everyone around them? Well, today I have my deacon from my parish, Joe Murphy. Hi, say hi, Murph.
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
This is Joe Murphy. He's obviously the deacon for my parish, and he is phenomenal. He's just a great overall human being and makes an impact on everyone around him. So I have a couple questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready,
Okay.
I think.
You're going to do great.
Okay.
Okay, question number 1. When did you first learn about St. Francis of Assisi, or Assisi?
Yeah, when I was a detective in Philadelphia, I got transferred downtown, and I got there early, so I started going to St. John the Evangelist Church at 13th and off of Market, and it was run by the Franciscan priest, and I started to hear a lot about that, and then I was invited to join the secular Franciscan order, which is the third order that Francis established. So the priest and the brothers were the first, and then the Poor Clares were the second, and then the secular Franciscan were the third order for lay people. And that's how I really got to know about St. Francis.
That's really fascinating. I
Yeah.
love that. And I think that I've been to that church that you were talking about, the St. John the
Yeah,
Evangelist.
great church, yeah.
That's a gorgeous church.
Yes, it
Not
is.
handicap accessible at all.
No,
but it's
not at
gorgeous,
all.
But
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 2. What in your mind is the most fascinating thing about St. Francis?
Well, I could talk for an hour on this, but I'll give you just a couple. One is he believed that poverty was the greatest gift that we could have. And he was a rich kid, and he ended up giving everything away. And with his brothers and priests, he wouldn't allow them to possess anything. And they went and begged for money during the streets and food. So I think poverty was one. The other thing was the profound effect he had, the love he had of the Blessed Virgin. And to me, that's one of the biggest things in my life. She's really my sponsor in life. And then the third thing was at the end of his life, at the last 2 years of his life, he was gifted with the stigmata. And he had the holy wounds of Jesus in his hands and feet and his side, and he bled. And he's the first person, I think, in recorded history that had the stigmata. And it's pretty interesting because he was a deacon. A lot of people think he was a priest. And he had the stigmata, and then also near his end of his life, he had a tremendous disease in his eyes. And so he suffered tremendously at the end of his life. And I think his suffering was his joy.
Oh, I love that. So you spoke about poverty. That reminds me of Mother Teresa, because poverty was a big thing in her world too.
Yes, exactly.
And her preaching. So I love that you spoke of that and how you brought it back to St. Francis.
Yeah.
So question number 3. St. Francis was a deacon as well, like you just spoke about. What made you want to become a deacon?
Well, that's a funny story. By going to Mass every day at St. John's, I got friendly with people down there. And one of the friends I had was this black woman named Pauline. And we used to walk from St. John's every morning out to Market Street. And I would go one way to be a detective, and she went another way for her job. She was much older than me. And I really never, I didn't even really know what a deacon was. I don't think I've ever seen one in the parish that I belonged. And I was a regular churchgoer for many years. It wasn't like I had been away. And one day we're talking and walking, and she said to me, "Murphy, you ought to be a deacon." And I shook my head and looked at her, and I said, "What's a deacon?" And then we started to talk about it, and that's what planted that question in my head. And then I went to 2 years of pre-diaconate school at Philadelphia Archdiocese, St. Charles Seminary, and then I retired. I didn't want to really get involved, and I came down here, and I ended up studying for 6 years and becoming a deacon, and it's the joy of my life.
I love that. So Pauline must have made a huge impact on you then.
Well, she did. We were very good friends,
love that.
very dear friends, and for a long time she belonged to a different fraternity of the secular Franciscans than I, but we would see one another almost every day at daily mass.
Aw,
Yeah.
that really cracks me up that like before she had mentioned anything, you really didn't know what a deacon did.
I had no idea, didn't know what they
you,
were.
Like, super young? Like how old were you?
No, I was, let's see, I was 1950, 60, 70, 80, 90. I was in my 40s, you know. Yeah, I mean, I was.
That is something else.
Yeah, I was in my mid 40s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Fascinating stuff. Okay, so that leads me to my next question, which is, tell me a little bit about your path as a deacon.
Well, again, that was the beginning. First of all, it started, you know, with, I had this unusual situation in where I had to drive down 95 to Center City to my work. And with rush hour traffic, you would either, if you left 10 minutes earlier, you would be 40 minutes early for work, or 5 minutes later you would leave and you would be half an hour late. And so I started just going into daily mass to kill time, and Jesus killed me. And that daily mass is just a life transforming event. And I started to go to confession, and regularly, almost every week, they had 3 confessions there 3 times a week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so I would go to confession, go to mass, go to confession, go to mass, and things started happening in my life. And I always prayed the rosary daily. And so I loved that. And it was that beginning of really this transforming life that I started really preaching Jesus, the gospel. Around everybody I knew, not like a crazy man, just like talking about God a lot. And I would invite the other detectives to come to mass. And then I moved down the shore here, and I got, you know, I was retired from the police department after 33 years. And I was looking on the diocesan website one night, and it said Deacon Information Night in Assisi. And I was home alone. My wife was still working. And I figured, well, let me drive up there. I don't know what it's about. And I went up there, and the guy who was giving the talk, a deacon, he said, if you feel like you might be called to being a deacon, keep moving forward. Because if you're not meant to be a deacon, you won't. And so I just kept moving forward, even though every May and June when I was coming home from class, I wanted to quit because it was a long ride home and a lot of traffic. But I went through it. I stuck through it. And, you know, I used to tell my wife every May and June, I'm quitting. She said, well, quit then. But I ended up sticking it through and got ordained, and it's been the greatest blessing in my life.
Aw, that's such a good story. And like, so then, did you know Father Perry before he came here?
First time I met Perry when he came here. So no,
really?
Yeah.
Because he was in Assisi.
Yeah, I didn't know that then.
It's interesting.
Father Perrault brought me here.
Yeah.
In a funny way, he called me up. I hadn't seen him for a couple of years, and he said, on the phone, he said, so I heard you're going to be ordained in a couple of months. And I said, well, you know, yeah. He says, I need you here. And I said, what? And he said, you're good with people, and I'm not. So that's how I ended up in Sea Isle City.
Oh my gosh, that's so
Because
funny.
I live in Ocean City, so I thought I was going to be assigned to Ocean City, and I ended up here.
Gosh. Anyone that knows Father Perrault, you love him, but like, he can be a kind of intimidating person.
He's an awesome, I love him. He's a great holy priest.
Yes, he is.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. I love Father Perrault. I miss him so much. But Father Perry is equally
Father Perry
awesome.
he is. He's a wonderful priest, and he never stops working. He's energetic, and I don't know how he does it, you know.
He cracks me up. Well, I know him from Spirit. And
okay.
Because I went there, and then he was the president.
Yeah.
And then when I found out that he was going to be the pastor, I said to my mom, I'm like, is this a joke? Because he also, on top of being the pastor at, what is it, St. Elizabeth and St. Seton?
Yeah.
And the president of Spirit, he is also used to be my aunt and uncle's neighbor.
Oh, there
so,
you
like,
go.
I knew him from that
aspect
too. So,
on
like,
a personal level.
Yeah.
Well,
so he's just overall great, man.
Yeah,
but,
I didn't think I could get along with a priest as good as Father Perrault and I got along. We were like kind of like, you know,
salt and pepper.
And and we seem to work well together. But Father Perry is just magnificent. And
You guys seem very similar personality-wise.
yeah, maybe a little hyper,
Yeah.
a lot of friends, open with
Mhm.
people, and I love people, and that's the big
Yeah.
tell. You know,
Uh-huh.
that's what her sister wrote a letter about me when she was in 8th grade, and it talks about how I knew everybody, and hey buddy
Yeah.
is what she called it. So
Yeah.
it was
Aw.
very good.
Wait, I didn't know she called it that.
Hey
but
buddy, and it's still hanging on my bedroom wall.
Aw,
Yeah,
I love
framed,
that,
yeah,
Murph.
yeah.
Off the well, she'll
She
see
knows.
this video. But yeah, okay. Last question. You ready?
Hmm.
Okay.
You didn't prepare me for this one, but go ahead.
Okay. Have you learned any important life lessons from being a deacon or from St. Francis?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just service.
Ooh,
Service,
that's a good
service.
one.
The deacon word comes from diakonia, which can mean servant, and also the deacon wears a stole that goes across, which is very similar to a servant's. So if you can get in your mind and heart that you're a servant of the people and of the church, and you like service ministry, you know, there's no limit to your love and enjoyment. And, you know, I do a lot of service in many other fields, but this is the creme de la creme, serving the parish. And St. Joseph's here is a magnificent parish of families, and it's just wonderful. I love it here.
Amen. That is a great answer.
Yeah.
Service is, you just get such a fulfillment on both ends from my perspective.
Yeah, well, you got to give it away to keep it. You know,
Yeah,
you got to give it
exactly.
away to keep it.
100%. Well,
That's
thank
right.
you for coming on today.
Well, thank
Deacon
you.
Murphy.
You're one of my favorite people, and I
Aw,
love
you
being here
too,
with you.
Murph.
God bless you,
Thank
and God
you.
bless you all.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.
Peace out.